Across North America, millions of professional truck drivers are on the road each day, delivering the products that keep our economy moving. This efficient flow can be interrupted or even stopped for a number of compliance reasons. Keeping the economy and your truck moving is made easier through up-to-date compliance with the International Registration Plan. The International Registration Plan, or IRP, is an agreement for the registration of commercial motor vehicles involved in interjurisdictional travel throughout the United States and provinces of Canada. In this video, you'll learn how to be compliant with IRP requirements and avoid problems that result from incomplete distance record keeping. IRP facilitates the collection and distribution of registration fees you pay between member jurisdictions while reducing the requirement of multiple license plates, cab cards, or registration trip permits. To ensure that jurisdictions receive their fair share of revenue based on distance traveled over their highways, it provides for the payment of registration fees based on the percentage of total distance the registered fleet of vehicles operated in each jurisdiction. Before the early 1970s, no single registration reciprocity agreement existed that was fair to the motor transportation industry and provided a fair share of revenue to all jurisdictions. That changed in 1973 when the International Registration Plan became the first international uniform interjurisdictional registration agreement. This initial agreement included 9 jurisdictions and allowed for the apportioning of registration fees based on distance traveled. Today, the 48 contiguous United States, the District of Columbia, and 10 provinces in Canada participate in the IRP. IRP facilitates the freedom of vehicle movement for interjurisdictional travel, which is the operation of a vehicle into and through a jurisdiction, as well as for intra-jurisdictional travel, such as when a truck picks up a load and delivers that same load within a jurisdiction. While motor carriers operating in more than one jurisdiction used to be required to obtain multiple registrations and display multiple plates, they now need only a single license plate and cab card. Because registration for multiple jurisdictions is processed through the base jurisdiction, the IRP provides for a smooth registration process for over 2 million vehicles and ensures fair and accurate registration costs based on the actual operation of vehicles with IRP license plates. The more than $2 billion in revenue generated through IRP member jurisdictions each year is used to support highway infrastructure and safety-related programs in those jurisdictions. This provides safer, more efficient highways for the motoring public. Under the IRP, jurisdictions must register apportioned vehicles, which includes issuing license plates and cab cards or proper credentials, calculate, collect, and distribute IRP fees, audit carriers for accuracy of reported distance and fees, provide carriers with record-keeping requirements and information on acceptable practices, and enforce IRP requirements. Some jurisdictions perform record checks of new carriers to ensure they are maintaining acceptable records. They may also require a signature statement at the time of registration, indicating that the carrier understands the record-keeping requirements. Registrant responsibilities under the plan include applying for IRP registration with base jurisdiction, providing proper documentation for registration, paying appropriate IRP registration fees, properly displaying registration credentials, maintaining accurate distance records, and making records available for jurisdiction review. Clear and accurate record keeping is critical to the fair assessment and distribution of IRP registration fees. It includes distance records that support the verification of fleet operations for all distance traveled. These must be maintained for a minimum of 3 years after the close of the registration year. If requested for an audit by the base jurisdiction, they must be made available. The distance reporting period is defined as July 1 through June 30 of the preceding year. The most acceptable document for reporting distance is a standardized individual vehicle distance record, or IVDR. Some tools that provide assistance with record keeping include the driver logbook and electronic onboard recorders, or EOBRs. These tools provide good support information for the IVDR. Many motor carriers now utilize total electronic record keeping, which includes producing IVDRs electronically. In addition to the IVDR, monthly or quarterly summary reports for each vehicle should be prepared. These help create an annual fleet summary that is used to prepare the IRP application. They are also used for audits, since the information auditors need includes all source documents. The distance information reported on the IVDR is normally obtained from an odometer or hub odometer. Each jurisdiction's suggested trip report, or IVDR, may look different, but they all reflect the minimum requirements for accurate reporting. This includes the start and end dates of a trip, route of travel, beginning and ending odometer or hub odometer reading of the trip, total distance, which includes all movement such as loaded, empty, bobtailed, and personal trips, in-jurisdiction distance, and power unit number or vehicle identification number. As stated earlier, a logbook is a good tool for use in preparing data for the IVDR. Some carriers use electronic onboard recorders to track routes and distance traveled. If the manufacturer of the onboard recorder certifies that the system meets IRP plan requirements, then no manual record keeping is required, and the preparation of monthly, quarterly, and annual summaries is automated. If the onboard recorder is not certified, it is important to also maintain manual records. When the device is to be used alone, printed reports must be produced, which replace handwritten trip reports. The printed trip reports must be retained for audit. Power unit and fleet summaries that show in-jurisdiction distance must then be prepared. Clear, organized, accurate records help auditors verify distance reporting. Inconsistent records make it difficult for an auditor to verify distance reporting and can prolong an audit. If supporting records are not available, a carrier may have to pay additional fees or penalties. Inaccurate reporting may also cause a jurisdiction to be left off a cab card. For more information on record-keeping requirements, refer to your base jurisdiction or IRP website. Contact your base jurisdiction, or consult both the IRP plan and the IRP Audit Procedures Manual. IRP fees are based on the percentage of distance a vehicle operates in each jurisdiction. Some jurisdictions include other fees or taxes in addition to the basic registration fees. For renewed IRP registration of apportionable vehicles, registrants report their actual distance driven on the application. The percentages are calculated for each jurisdiction, and each jurisdiction's rate is multiplied by the jurisdiction's percentage to determine the fee due each jurisdiction. The carrier pays 100% of the fees due. Maintaining accurate records and reporting accurate distance is critical to the proper calculation of fees. It ensures that registrants are not overcharged and that jurisdictions receive their fair share of revenue based on actual operations. Jurisdictions are required to audit carriers and ensure that appropriate, accurate fees are collected. Specifically, the plan requires each member jurisdiction to audit apportioned registration applications and all supporting records for carriers registered in their jurisdiction. The base jurisdiction audits its registrants on a registration year and fleet basis. The audit verifies the accuracy of the registrant's reported distance from operational records and registrations. When the audit of a registrant is complete, the base jurisdiction provides the findings to the registrant and all affected member jurisdictions. These include a determination of any fees owed by the registrant minus any fees owed to the registrant. Failure to maintain records that accurately support the IRP application can lead to sanctions such as a refusal to renew registrations, suspended or revoked registrations, or other jurisdiction-specific penalties. If a registrant operating in a jurisdiction is pulled over and is not properly registered with IRP, it could result in significant fines. IRP jurisdictions rely on various law enforcement agencies to provide roadside enforcement of IRP requirements. Maintaining accurate records and reporting of distance is critical to good business practices and the safe, seamless operation of commercial motor vehicles. Failure to maintain records and comply with IRP requirements can lead to enforcement actions. Revoked or suspended registrations are out-of-service violations in many jurisdictions. Sanctions for operating with an out-of-service order may include immediate removal of the truck from the highway. The International Fuel Tax Agreement, or IFTA, is a program similar to IRP in that it depends on records of the distances traveled by a fleet in each jurisdiction for the proper collection of taxes. The difference is that IFTA includes calculations of fuel taxes based on gallons purchased and used within jurisdictions, and requires quarterly tax reports to be filed with the licensee's base jurisdiction. This video training is intended to provide you with the information you need to know to keep accurate IRP records. Please remember to check with your base jurisdiction for any specific regulations related to IRP and other compliance.